Yesterday, I received a compelling message from a gentleman sharing his perspective on the firearms debate. His insights go far beyond cliches like no one needs a semi auto or they're not coming for your hunting rifles. Instead, he addressed the core principle at what's at stake in this election. Having witnessed similar events before, he offers a sobering warning to all Canadians, whether firearm owner or not. Raphael Braga, thank you for stepping up and sharing your story. The floor is yours.
Well, thank you so much for your space, Curtis. Yeah, man. It's like I was telling you. I've lived this experience before. I've seen this movie, and unfortunately, it does not end well. Brazil has gone through disarmament since the late '80s, with a big emphasis in the 2010, around 2010. But yeah, in Brazil now, most of hunting is forbidden. It's heavily regulated, almost impossible to get a license to hunt. It's mostly for people that, do preservation of scientific projects. But for regular folks, it's almost impossible to go and get a license to hunt. And to get a firearm, really, it's very difficult. It's almost impossible, especially if you wanted to for self-defense. For hunting, as I said, it's almost forbidden, so it's very difficult to get one. It's very bureaucratic and very expensive in a country where people are not very wealthy. So it's very elitist in that sense. Plus, the results are not the greatest, and that's what worries me a lot, because I came here kind of trying to escape from all the violence and crime that I was living in Brazil. As I told you, I don't know of a friend that never been victim of a crime himself, or who knows someone that was, in first person victim of a crime like this. My own father-in-law was kidnapped in the front of his house when he was coming back from work. And I have many other stories like this. My dad, my mom, people that are very close. Everybody, me, myself, I got I got robbed quite a few times. And this happens on a daily basis, because they always use the excuse of, it's for your own safety. And that's what everything started in the Constitution of '88, in the late '80s. We came from a military regime. And when that regime was over, when they started to create a democratic regime again and brought up a new constitution, in one of the first amendments of that constitution, it says that the state is responsible for everyone's safety. And that was the basis that they used to disarm everyone, because, the state is responsible for your safety, which is, of course, impossible, right? You don't have a policeman 24/7 by your side protecting you. And, the numbers get to that crazy numbers that I told you. When I left Brazil in 2017, we reached the incredible numbers of 60,000 people being unlived by firearms, which is, roughly 7 lives per hour, which is really insane if you think about it, right? The population of Brazil is quite larger than the Canadian one. So, proportionately, you can argue that there are some lean lean waiting there, but proportionally is just insane. It's very, very difficult to live and feel safe in a place like this. So that's why we left, among other reasons, but that was the main one. I wanted to live in a safe country where I could, walk the streets anytime and I will feel safe. And I feel, since I got here, I noticed the crime rates going up. I noticed the government don't doing anything about it, don't actually acting against crime on a reasonable manner. Instead, they're coming out after, law-abiding citizens that are trained, licensed, responsible, and put themselves out there to be in, to being checked by the police pretty much every day. So I cannot think about a group of people that are more safe and lawful, really. And it just boggles my mind that that's the case. But since I lived this before, I kind of understand where this is going, and it worries me a lot because it doesn't end well.
Yeah. So, with that being said, you got a message for people heading to the polls. I know early voting is done, so it's down to the 28th. What's something you want to impart on all Canadians, firearm owners and not, about what's really at stake at this election, and yeah, what are your thoughts? What do you want to leave them with?
Well, I'm not a super jargon guy, but I told you, politicians and diapers should be changed for the same reason frequently. And it has been 10 years, man. I mean, it's time. We have better proposals on the table. Let's give them a chance. And another thing that I think it's very important, in Brazil we have a saying, a chibata muda de mão, uh, the whip will change hands. So it's never a good thing to allow your government to set precedents of things that are, unlawful, or, go after the rights of people. Because if you set that precedent, another person will get to the seat of power someday, and they can use those precedents to go after your rights too. So it's never a good thing to let that happen.
Hmm. Yeah, there you have it, folks. Get out and vote. Vote for the future of not only firearms ownership in Canada, but just Canada in general. It's time for a change. You said the diaper needs to be changed, as you said. So we we need to get out there, get as many folks as mom, dad, Uncle Jim, get them all out there, get them voting. It's going to be a close race, and if we want to see some real change, we got to get every person who's able to vote for change to vote for it. So, Raphael, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you speaking up and sharing your stories.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Curtis.
Right on.